Charles is moving on, and we have thoughts. Spoiler, we're going to miss him, but we're excited for the new team. We'll talk about that and more on this episode of the SWTOR Escape podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 432. And with me is my co-host, Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
It's going good. I mean, every once in a while, I hear that number when you say the astromech, and I'm like amazed that we're on episode 432.
Yes.
I mean, I am and I'm not, because like it seemed like episode 400 was a really long time ago now, like another life.
It does.
We've only
True.
done 32 since then, but anyway. Yes, but on to things SWTOR. Let's see. So this week, oh gosh, for MFN, BC took us to Onderon, and we did a bunch of sort of just exploring around the planet, and he showed sort of the locations of some of the, what are they called? Suspicious comestibles or whatever for the achievement.
Suspicious. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. Suspicious comestibles.
And we did some of the achievements there, like looking at the Jedi temple with the macro binoculars and letting the parrot kill you and jumping down the well and stuff like that, as you know, one does. And we also went around the galaxy then looking at other things and killing 75 mobs in each instance. And then we, at the end, we did kill Trapjaw on Tatooine 4 times so that everyone got the weekly for world bosses. So that was real fun.
I tanked it.
Yes,
real
you
good.
did tank it. You did tank it, and you survived the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even with my dire predictions that you wouldn't.
Predictions or wishes, Seema?
Predictions are wishes. Then we had our ops night tonight, which we were missing one person. And so we went and did story mode Ravagers, which has actually kind of been a while since then. Plus, well, Machete's in the chat room. I think he hadn't done it, but maybe a couple of times. And then Thon was showing off his ability to play every kind of class, which he can play every kind of class, by stepping in and tanking, which was that was very cool, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, he did do a few, like, what would you call them? Surprise boss fight beginnings.
Surprise mechanics where he I like when he did it a couple times. Ready, check, Thon pulls, and then goes, oh, and by the way, I've never done this fight before. I have no idea what's going on. Just so you know.
Right. But it isn't like spontaneous. It's like Corley tells him something. He goes, well, you know, I don't know this fight.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Corley's like, I was trying to explain it to you when you pulled.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it worked great. And
but it was very fun. And Thon is a great player, and he can literally play every role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's kind of it for me. How has your week been?
Also good. You can always tell what I've been doing if you look at the achievements that I have pinned in the lower right, how you can do that. So yeah, I still have a couple of the Onderonian botanist achievements. We were going around and picking up those leaves and things off the ground. There's 2 that I still need to get and I never bothered. And then we started, a couple of us were able to, I know I have more of the delicious morsels or whatever they're called, but if you feed the little tiny Fleeron, tasty morsels, if you feed the Fleeron 15 times, which maybe I did on my Vanguard, but then you get the pet, which is kind of cool. So
I mean,
tiny little
when
Fleeron.
I log into Steam, I see it says max achieved, Flashpoint Master.
I did that as well. So
I mean, on the 17th, but it's still on my.
That's what I did this week.
My notifications, yeah.
And we talked about this last week. I looked at those Steam achievements and I was trying to both find the ones that I was missing, which I did, which is a problem. And then I went and did the 2 flashpoints, which was, I had to do the bonus bosses in 2 of the old flashpoints that I never got around to doing. So I soloed those flashpoints in. So it was False Emperor bonus boss, and I think it was Black Talon bonus boss. Uh, I soloed them in vet so I could make sure I did the bonus bosses and both of them, checked them off. So then I got Flashpoint Master. Cool, cool, cool. So what remains is Fallen Empire and Eternal Throne, vet modes and master modes for both of those. So that's 4 achievements. And then 2 hidden achievements, which I found. I found them by taking all the list of all possible known achievements and then scraping the web page of my existing achievements, parsing that out into a spreadsheet, and then writing a VLOOKUP against the known list so I could see where the gaps were.
What's a VLOOKUP?
Yeah, just a formula in Excel for a cell that will take a name and then it'll look up in another table to find a value matching that name.
Oh, okay.
So then I was able to just find what I was missing. But it's kind of frustrating that you have to do that. So that was a rant for tonight. Why do I got to do that? Why bother to make a hidden achievement and that I have to look through 190 achievements to go find? That's not fun. There's no discovery or fun with that. Or I could do the infinite possible of everything possible in the game and hope it happens someday. Nobody's going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Don't
I
have
heard that if you touch every pixel in Rishi, then you get an achievement.
that. I mean, exactly. It was well, ironically, or maybe not ironically. I don't know why we happened to be on Rishi. And we're talking about Rishi, and we did an operation on Rishi. My 2 hidden achievements are on Rishi. They are the class story achievements that you need to do on Rishi. And I discovered and was told that if you skip ahead, those get marked completed and you can't do them. So in order to get those 2 hidden achievements, I'm going to have to roll a new character. I'm going to have to roll a new smuggler and roll a new warrior, level up till I get to Rishi, and then do the class story missions on
That's a
Rishi.
nice little project for you.
Is it? Is it, Seema? Well, that and the other thing I tried to do was I tried to do Knights of the Fallen Empire chapter, whatever I'm up to, chapter 4 master mode. And that did not go very well either. So I will not be doing that. Yeah. Chapter 4, the gravestone. Uh, I did not get very far. I killed one of the bosses, but then I was having like strongs were murdering me and I've got a level 2. I could make HK55. I could waste a compendium on HK55 because he's like a level 2 influence right now. So maybe that may be the problem. But the hits were like each regular melee hit from these strong mobs were 40% of my health in into 327 gear 327 gear score. That's kind of rough. That's kind of rough for strong mobs, and not even champions or anything. So I don't know.
So the lesson here that I'm taking away is that um, you should do achievements in the current content because who knows how the tweaking is going to go iteration after
Right.
iteration.
So with these, I'm thinking maybe I'll wait until we're on 340 gear, and then I'll go back and see how it feels, and see if I'm ever going to bother to do any more achievements ever again in Steam's Star Wars:
Well,
The Old Republic.
I mean, you know my thing about achievements.
Uh, they're awesome drivers of engagement.
Well, no, that they might zero them out at any moment.
Yes, that's the other thing. True. So, anyways, that's what I've been up to. Let's see what else the world of Star Wars: The Old Republic has been up to.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
In game news, hey, there's a dev post in the dev tracker that says, devs, please help with guild perks. So what seems to be happening is as guilds are getting bigger and needing to try to keep their perks going, there's just not enough guild commendations when the guild completes the weekly conquest to maintain the perks. Not a very long thread, but they did chime in and said they will be upping the total number of guild commendations that you get, which is nice, which is cool. So that's going to be useful and that's going to help a lot of people, it seems. that there wasn't a bunch of ranting in this thread, and there wasn't, it was pretty positive, the response. So this seems like a sweet move. Good move. Well done. Well played.
And then there was another clarification about the Manon dailies. So on the PTS, um, you had to copy over a character that had completed the story up through the beginning of 7.0. Um, and they said as of now that's how you have to do it. But Jackie has confirmed that even in live, you can only play the Manon Daily area with a character that has completed the storyline up through 7.0. So the reason that's an issue for people is not that it exists, because it's been that way for a lot of the daily areas. You have
Yep.
to play the story up to it. It's an issue because it's a grueling amount of playtime to get from the where the skip takes you, if you take a skip, to where you have to be.
Right.
A lot. It's a lot. It's several hours of play, like way more. Well, like you've said a couple times, it's way more content just going through all that by several factors
Yeah.
than
By several multiples.
7.0 is. So, um,
Like four flashpoints before you even get to 7.0 that you have
I
to do, I believe. You have to do Spirit of Vengeance. You have to do uh, Jedi Enclave. You have to do.
I think I counted 5 instances you have to do.
It's crazy. Uh, yeah. So it's
And the reason why instances feel like a grind is because you get in many cases you get supplied with a companion who has half the amount of influence that you're used to playing with.
right.
Um, and it's, different from your own companions. So I don't know. I think I think one possible outcome of that is that Manon won't get a lot of Manon daily area won't get a lot of play. Because seriously, I know I'm not going to be doing that
No,
story piece.
I'm on the two or three. I think three characters I've taken through the story at this point. That's probably going to be it.
That's gonna be it, yeah.
I'm not going to do
And
this
it's
for the main
not a
characters.
commentary on the story being bad or good. It's just life, you know?
Yeah, and I love Spirit of Vengeance, it's really cool, but doing it solo to grind it through on yet another character the nth time because I want to do, to play through that, and I think it's more than a couple hours. It's probably like 5
Oh, it
hours.
yeah, it's yeah,
So
yeah.
to play for 5
For me,
hours
it
on
was
a
like 5
character
hours.
before you get to the thing that you actually want to play, or
That
or
takes
before you even get to the
special
new
energy, yeah.
content, and then it's another hour of the new content, and then you get to the daily area because all you're trying to actually do is get to the daily area. Yeah, that's kinda rough.
So,
So they
I
need
will s
to update
yeah.
that skip at some point.
Or there needs to be yes, they need to update Skip for sure.
Yeah.
And for me right now, what I know of the Manon dailies, they're not enough to drag me through that on another character, right? So, I can do other dailies and get the same thing, and I don't
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know there's rep that you can get there that you can't get Manon daily rep at Black Hole, for instance, but, the rep's gonna happen eventually
Uh,
anyway
right. I'd prefer
by
to
doing
spend if I'm going to do dailies, I'd prefer to spend my time doing dailies for the newest content because that's kinda
right,
cool, and it's gonna
and
be a shame
that's
that
the
I
rep
can't.
that's the rep that you don't have, and that would I always like it when you can work on multiple things at once, but yeah,
What is that? Did you hear that sound?
I did.
My why is there a sound? I think my whole all my game sounds are muted, but this one is wow, oh wait. Enable sound. Sound is disabled. So overall sound is disabled, but this sound now, it squeaks around it. It gets around it. Oh, unless something else is happening. Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's Steam. Steam is taking screenshots?
Yes, yes, yes. Steam makes a noise when it takes a screen, so you're hitting F12.
Yeah, but I play with F12 all the time, and Steam has never taken screenshots before when
Yeah,
I've
it
hit it.
does. If you maybe if you had the game sounds going, you just didn't notice. But
Really?
yeah, yeah, the default is F12.
So every time I've mounted on my mount, I must have like 1,000 screenshots in there for SWTOR.
Right, like, for me, it was I had it on my stun button, so every time I was, like, trying to stun something, I would get a screenshot.
You have a record of all the things you've tried to stun. Oh, look,
Right? A
there's
visual
Max.
record.
There's Max.
No.
There's Max. Boss mob, Max.
And Corley says that you
Rebind
can,
it.
rebind it, but he doesn't tell you how, where it
Uh,
is.
it's a trap. Uh, all right. Anyway, what was I going for here? Still in the news. July in-game events are almost over. There will be one more starting on the 26th. So that's coming up on Tuesday. Bounty Contract Week starting on July 26th through August 2nd. We still have not heard yet on Nightlife. We would love to hear when that's coming up, and we hope it's coming up soon. Well, I don't really care because I never win anything off of those stupid slot machines, but it would be good to know. Bounty Contract Week, don't forget it. It is where you get some cool weapons, including the bowcasters. Remember that, which is
Oh,
what I
yeah,
talk about every
bowcasters.
time we bring up Bounty Contract. That's the weapon skin that I use anytime on my two tanks, on my Vanguard tanks. I love the bowcaster look. And yeah, so we'll see what's up with Nightlife. What about in guild news, Zima? Because August 2nd, when Bounty Contract Week ends, starts something special for us, does
Right.
it not?
So, as a guild, every summer we celebrate the Summer of Love, which is a week-long, it's sort of like special events in all the games that we play. And it starts off it starts on August 2nd this year, right? But
It's
anyway, August 2nd
Yeah, starts on August 2nd. Yeah, that's the
is
kickoff.
what we call Remembrance Day. So Summer of Love is always it's always like right around August 2nd because that's the same day every year. And that's when we all gather in Discord and we commemorate people that we have lost in real life. So you get to hear stories of um yeah, from everyone in the guild. It's a very nice evening and it's a good time with
Yep.
your buddies. I recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've been doing it for 10 years now, at least, probably 12. And it is a highly regarded event across our community. We get, many people participating. It's well regarded outside of our community as well. And we talk and remember people, and that's sort of a bit in the beginning. Then we do in across all of our games, we do this sort of like in-game memorial, where in World of Warcraft, everyone's unequips their weapons and slow walks are on a path where everybody else that's on the server can sort of see what's going on and ask about it. We're going to do something a little different this year in Star Wars: The Old Republic, for Memorial Procession. That'll be interesting. And then there's people in Guild Wars at the Memorial Wall, Final Fantasy at the Guild House. There's a memorials section set up. Um, in what's the name of the system in Star Trek? Wolf 184, where there's the memorial. I don't know if the number is right, but it's something like that. They do the procession there in through space in Star Trek Online. So like each of the games, Lotro has a memorial area. It's kind of cool to have that kind of thing going on too. Um, and then it transitions into sort of like a night of celebration and fun and prizes and things like that as well. So the chat room is asking, Memorial, did someone pass away? Yes. Yes, many people. Over the course of the last 15 years that the guild has been around, the event started on August 2nd when it was about 12, 14 years ago when the very first prominent member, we've had thousands of people in the guild over the years. The very first prominent community member that we had ever known of passed away in real life. His character name was Milliways. And spontaneously at that time on August 2nd, the following year, Memorial was sort of like started in World of Warcraft. That was the only game that anybody was playing in the guild back then, and evolved into this annual event. And each year, unfortunately, it's kind of the way life goes. In a community of hundreds of players, we've lost more people over the years. So we remember those people. We talk about them. We talk about people in our personal lives that we've lost. That's kind of the way it goes. And it's nice. It's nice. It's a good thing, and it's great to remember all those cool people across the community that were kind of part of our lives and still continue to be in this way. Um. All right. Chat room. Hello. Fatal there in the chat room. Thanks for chiming in and asking about that. And thank you everyone else who's been hanging out in the chat room, telling me I should do chapter 2 of Eternal Throne, and then everything else will seem easy after that on master mode. I will look into that, Forrester. But we really appreciate everybody that jumps in there and hangs out with us both before the show, which again, we're starting early, and then I don't know. Our pre-show, post-show is a fluid, and it expands to fill whatever container is available.
Time is fluid.
We did not start early, so we'll have to someday, and that day may never come. We will start early, but today is not that day. So we really appreciate the chat room helping us sound smart, stay on track, make sure everything's working, and we will talk to all of you after the show. But now we do want to talk about the lead we kind of buried, which is the changing of the guard a bit for Bioware. And listen to this, because it's important.
Power will be yours if you are willing to burn.
Why is that important, you might ask? Because those words and that dialogue, that monologue there, was written by none other than Caitlin. So Caitlin Sullivan, Kelly, is the new lead writer taking over for Charles. So Charles Boyd is leaving the team, which is a sad moment, but it's amicable, and I'm sure there's going to be tons of speculation and that kind of thing, but this is a thing that happens. This is a thing that happens in professional organizations, and it sounds like from everything we know so far that it was just not something that was known, and an opportunity came up, and Charles has been there for a long time, and a lot of these people have. So we lost Chris Schmidt before the at least a few months ago. Yeah, I think 3 months ago now. And it was just, hey, something else came up, and people across their careers, they changed jobs. This is how things work. So it sounds like that's kind of what's going on with Charles. It's a good opportunity for him. And it's also then, which is mostly what we're going to be talking about tonight, a good opportunity for what we're calling our new Jedi Council. I don't know if they all play Jedis, but the new I welcome our new Bioware overlords. I for one.
Well played.
And they are Eric, Ashley, Caitlin, Ellen, and George. And we're going to talk about each of them. Give you, if you don't know anything about them, give you a little bit of an introduction. But I for one will be sad that Charles is leaving, because I'm a big fan of Charles and his work. But I'm,
he's such an icon.
Yeah. And that's that.
I mean, whose hair am I going to make jokes about now?
Right. I'm not asking Caitlin to make her own stormtrooper armor and wear it around. And I wouldn't expect that from anybody, but that was kind of like a thing. And that was that was really, it was interesting to have Charles play that role. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to pick up that mantle. Maybe Eric. Maybe Eric Musco is going to have to take that on.
He can cosplay Arkin.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, he certainly can. We've seen him photoshopped into Arkin's face because he's got the haircut to go with it. But yeah, what do you think, Seema? You gonna miss Charles?
Oh yeah,
No.
for sure.
I'm not gonna say no at this point.
Although, I mean, no, I'm totally gonna miss Charles, and I'm just dying of curiosity to see where he lands next.
Because we heard that Chris Schmidt landed at Infinity Ward working on Call of Duty, and teaser, we didn't do our pre-roll about our Behind the Games podcast because we are having an off week this week and not doing a Behind the Games show because we did an episode, but it ended up getting tied up in some PR approvals, and it's going to be a really cool one when it comes out, but that may not be for a couple weeks. But we also recorded another episode with a very special guest whose name I may already have said. So if you would like to hear from an old friend, tune in to Behind the Games next week. We'll probably go live on Wednesday or Thursday with that episode with Chris Schmidt.
I mean, it was just a phenomenal conversation.
I would
you
love to
guys
do
are
with
gonna be
Charles
floored.
now too. We gotta call up Charles. I may already have slid into his DMs on that one. So,
Right.
but
And
there's
he
a
responded, which I give him, props for because he
huge
was probably being deluged.
Yeah, and I did that right away with Chris too. And we said, I know things are crazy right now. Let's put it off for let's just settle into the role, and see where things go from there. Well, I mean, so the chat room is speculating on places that Charles could end up, which are good guesses, Asper or Skydance. But look at what Chris Schmidt did. It could be something completely different. So Chris Schmidt being at Infinity Ward working on Call of Duty, and bringing some of his philosophy on engagement and positive positive play between players and reducing toxicity to sort of a new studio for Infinity Ward and Infinity Ward. Also, tune into that show. You'll hear more about that.
Yeah,
But
right, right.
it's going off in a potentially different direction. I am not putting any bets on where I think Charles is going to end up. But I bet he will end up somewhere, and we'll probably hear about it relatively soon. But we're not here to talk about Charles as much as we're here to talk about the team, He Who Remains and She Who Remains, the team who remains, the new Jedi Council. So let's start in the order that they were listed in Keith's note. So Keith put out the note. Oh, and we buried this too, which I kind of forgot about because Keith did sort of slip it in and said, August 2nd is when 7.1 is releasing. And he slid it into this note about Charles. That wasn't the greatest place to put that, but it was good information to have. So now we know for sure. And I guess we even left it out of the news. 7.1 is going live on August 2nd. Oh, by the way.
Yeah. You're right. We should have had that in the news, huh?
And then Charles, am I on the right screen? Here we go.
We were any good at this thing.
Yeah, we need a little bit more practice. Maybe another 10 years. So Keith put this note out. It went out as an EA, an overall EA note, and then a Bioware note, and then a SWTOR note. It went out in a few different places, but he said, we're going to really miss Charles. Gary McKay, Bioware GM, put a note out saying, we're going to miss Charles. Been great. He's been a real leader across the community. And then Keith said, but don't worry, because here's your team. And here's your team. And these are not new people to the game. And we'll talk about, or new people to Bioware. The people have been around for a while, doing a lot of the work. And in fact, that's why I played that, If You Are Ready to Burn. That was Caitlin's writing. She's been soaking in it for quite a while, writing a lot across Star Wars: The Old Republic for years, and is well equipped to carry on that lead writer role. And I think that's going to be great. So start at the top. Eric Musco. He is now the lead producer, and he's kind of been a producer for a while. They didn't really make a big deal of that. He kind of just sort of slid into that lead producer role, and we don't really know when. I feel like he was made part of the council, but not given the rank of master.
Right. They just started
Extending this
referring
job.
to him as lead producer, and yeah.
Maybe it's kind of like a fake it till you make it thing, and Eric just started showing up each day and just decided to sit in the lead producer desk, and they're like, all right. I like it. you good job. Do you know? Good night. Sleep well. Most likely kill you in the morning. But for now, you're the lead producer, Eric. And I like Eric. I have known Eric for many, many years. Met him in person multiple times. Had beers with him at the various cantinas. Talked to him outside of that on some of the some other times. Uh, I love seeing this career that he's had, both at what he led up to, which wasn't a lot in the game industry until he got into Bioware. Oops, don't mean to bring this up, but this is where I was snooping on people. I was in their LinkedIn notes, and he had been doing some graphic design work before, so he's been, he's been a creative to some degree for quite a while. He was also a podcaster on Star Wars: The Old Republic, so he was involved in the community, and then he started as a community manager in 2013, and from there, he was a model community manager across the industry. He had always done a spectacular job um, in a role that I would call tanking the community.
Right. Absolutely. I would use that term too.
And being the meat shield, taking the bullets, taking one for the team, and staying positive and engaging positively um, unceasingly. And he's sort of never slipped in doing that. And he talked about that. He talked about that sort of like being core to what he wanted to bring to that role, and did a really good job of it. But along the way was also doing work behind the scenes in helping with bringing new ideas to the team, helping sort of run the coordination between some of the design of what's going on and some of the development and some of the narrative. So there's a lot of moving parts, and the producer role helps be that coordinator between those moving parts. And Eric has been doing that enough now that I think lead producer is a great place for him to be. Any comments on Eric Sema? I know you've talked to him quite a bit too.
Yeah, I mean, just Eric is just an impressive guy. I remember one speech he gave, and I don't know if it was a cantina. It was some kind of a thing where they were sitting at a table and just fielding questions, and he was talking about how he had this naturally thick skin, and I was just really, I don't know, he just seems like really a good guy and a good position for him to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. The next two that we'll be talking about, Ashley and Caitlin, I figured a good introduction to them, and we'll talk about some more details. And we've got sort of like some juicy bits for both of them. But if you remember the 10th anniversary, what they did for the live stream as they were launching the 10th anniversary update, so this is almost a year ago now, they did a bit in the beginning where they had like 60 seconds each from a bunch of BioWare team members saying, this is what the 10th anniversary kind of means to me, and this is what BioWare means to me. Ashley and Caitlin were both in that. So let's bring that back
What
up.
SWTOR
Oop,
meant to me.
Pause. Let's bring that back up and listen in to both Ashley and Caitlin. This will just take 2 minutes and 29 seconds.
What SWTOR meant to me. It's going to sound really cliche, but to me, SWTOR definitely means family. I've worked in many different fields in my lifetime. I have worked 10 years in the game industry, but this team is the only one that I've ever worked on that truly felt like my family. Everyone is so considerate, everyone is so supportive. We all help each other out wherever and whenever we can. And we're also really amazing at collaborating and giving each other feedback and helping each other bring out our best work. And this is also the only team where I've learned so many new skills that I never thought I would be capable of excelling at. And this is all because people on the team were amazing mentors and friends to me and actually made me believe that I could do those things. And even before I started working on the team, I feel like the game itself is always at its best when it's about family, whether it's outright like in Fallen Empire or Eternal Throne, or just even in the original core game stories where you kind of build your own misfit family from all the different companions.
SWTOR was my first job in the industry. It was my first time working in games. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know cinematic designer was a thing I could do. in games, and getting to work on a large Star Wars world was really exciting. I definitely see the stuff that I did when I first started as, I was just starting out, but I had big ideas, and it's really cool to be able to come back to the project so many years later and bring the things that I've learned and keep working on the same game and building more into that universe. I've really liked seeing how strong the community is over 10 years. When you have a game that continues this long, you see people build a lot of loyalty to it and a lot of familiarity. And even as the game evolves, the experience evolves, we iterate on what keeps the game going strong. We see people that just love it to death and also are helping new players experience it and lifting each other up and seeing members of the community bring in new people and help them through the experience and give them leg ups into our game world is really cool to see everybody lifting each other up that way.
All right, there we go. I think that's a little good background on both of them, and I think that was fun. Hope that doesn't get muted out of our video because the music.
Oh, because of the music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that as that was playing. But yeah. So Ashley was the second one that spoke. I guess I should have rearranged those, and Caitlin was the first one. So let's talk about Ashley. So Ashley's now the narrative director. So in addition to cinematics work, she's now overall narrative director. She said, and I did look this up. She said she had been working on for Bioware as like kind of her first job. And that's true. She was a contract worker, fresh out of college, and she worked on contract with Bioware. So she was working, choice-based cinematics. So she was a cinematics narrative designer on contract, and then she worked at Telltale. She worked at Gunfire Games, and then she came back full time in 2020 to Bioware, and they brought her on to both do cinematics and now overall narrative directing, which I think is really cool. If you want to look up more of what Ashley has done, there are other fun places that you can go. You can look up ashleyrule.com and see some details of some of her work, which is kind of cool. So this is good. And there's a couple of these of these people on this list that have their own personal website that's done well. I look up for the other podcasts, especially, I look up game people all the time now. If you're going to have a personal website and you're a creative, it better look
It better
good.
look nice, right?
Some of
'Cause
them
you're
I'm
saying,
like,
these are my skills right here.
what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. So this is a well done one, a nice portfolio of things that she's worked on over the years that you can look up on her site, which is pretty cool. And then she had another site which is offline at the moment, and she explains. So she had a business, kind of a business site that she was contract work, and you could hire her to make game trailers or edit game trailers, be part of the narrative design of game trailers. So here you can see she says indefinite hiatus. I am fully engaged. I am all in on Bioware. So I'm not doing this anymore. But that's it. I thought that was interesting and cool to see. And then off of both of those, there's a demo reel on Vimeo with a bunch of her. Let me see if I can mute this. Let me just mute the whole site then. Mute site. Where it's got a bunch of her cinematics work over the years that she had worked on, which is cool. So
Very.
yeah, so this is a good one. Ashley, been doing great work for a long time now with Bioware. Great person to be helping lead this team as well. All right, that brings us to Caitlin. Caitlin Sullivan Kelly, lead writer. So Caitlin is most directly taking over for Charles in particular. But as we sort of said, she's been doing
Well,
this
I
for a while.
mean, in Charles's role as a
Yeah,
writer, but
yeah. Well, as yeah, in the lead, yeah, it with the title of lead writer. But she's been a writer on Bioware on Star Wars: The Old Republic for a long time now. She's written a bunch of things that we would know. She wrote what else did she write? Oh, the Secrets of the Enclave. She wrote that
hmm
whole thing. She wrote the whole story behind what's going on in Secrets of the Enclave. She wrote the monologue for the Legacy of the Sith trailer. She wrote half of what we're doing in Manon right now. So she's been deep into it for a long time. This isn't like some new person who's not familiar with the material coming in. She's been with Bioware for 8 years, and she's always been into narrative specialization and narrative design for quite a while. She's another one that has a nice website that you can go on and see all of the kinds of things she's worked on for a while now. The bunch of the Bioware stuff. Oh, she wrote a bunch of Zen. Is Zen in the chat room? She wrote a bunch of the codex entries and the emails that you get from the original game, and since she wrote a bunch of those too. And then she's done other writing outside of that. So you can explore a little bit of that on her website, CaitlinSullivanKelly.com, and get into that some, which I think is really cool. To explore who these people are, get to know them a little bit. You know, I mean, Seema, it's not as it shouldn't be a surprise. This is kind of a thing that we like to do, find out who's behind these games.
yeah.
But we wanted to do that even in more detail, and who knows, maybe we'll get some of these people on this show and other shows to talk. Next up, Alan Copeland. So Alan Copeland is the UX director. So if people aren't familiar with the term UX, this is user experience. So this is a lot of the UI design, the kinds of things that you see in the game, like the inventory screen and the outfitter, and you need a team of people, and it is a team of people who are deciding what pieces to put together where, how you're going to evolve things over time, the direction you're going to go, set that direction, and do the updates to the user interface. They've done some of those updates. I think they're kind of like halfway through a bunch of those updates, I think, to where they want the user interface to go. I love having the new outfit designer, and we need UI components for things like the loadouts. You need somebody to be put. You gotta assign that to somebody. We need a screen for the loadouts. That's what Alan is the director for at this point. Alan has been doing games work and design work for many years. So, and Alan's got a website too, and Alan's is the coolest website, I think. So Alan is an artist, visual effects artist that he's been doing over his 20-year career in games, and sort of the game design stuff now as well. But look at this website. I like how he did this graphical thing. I'm sure he designed that and probably did the shaders for it. And then his little portrait is really good. This responsive. Oh, this is such a good website. Oh, look at that. This is just great. It's very dynamic. Things pop up. So Alan, as we said, has been in the industry for quite a while. He worked on, the Skylanders stuff, Crash Bandicoot, Destiny 2. Did he work on Anthem? Yeah, he did. He did some work on Anthem. I know. We don't talk about Anthem, do we, Seema?
No.
I was doing some looking. I played Anthem at the very beginning. Just a little side note on Anthem. I think a lot of people didn't give Anthem enough of a shot. Was it the best ever looter shooter when it came out? There were some parts of it that I thought were great and really cool and cool looking, but it hit at a time when there were other looter shooters out there that were better. And I think it was also at a time where it had enough of a rocky start and we're just getting into that time where it was a really fun activity to tear down a game and to tell a studio that they're terrible on the interwebs. That it could have gotten to a better place eventually, because no game is great the first day it comes out. Um, very few, very few. Some are great, but I don't know. So I'm sure people have differing opinions. Forster's saying they gave up on it too soon. I kind of think they were like kind of pushed into it, and I think the community didn't give them enough of a chance to that, so that they ended up having to give up on it, which is a shame. Anyways, we don't talk about Anthem, but a couple of these people had worked on Anthem over time, and we're glad to have them back on a successful property, Star Wars: The Old Republic. So yeah, great site. This is the best of the developer websites that I have seen so far, Alan. So well done. Hi, my name is Alan Copeland. I have been leading design and UX initiatives and making immersive gameplay experiences for video games and multimedia for over 20 years. Yeah, great stuff. I like it. And then, so did you ever hear of Alan before?
No, I never had.
Yeah, neither had
I don't.
I.
I don't remember him posting. You know how occasionally we'll get a new name and a post on the forums. I don't remember
Yeah, I don't remember Alan either.
a UI designer having weighing in on anything.
So he worked at EA for 7 years. Then he took off 4 years to work for Vicarious Visions on Skylanders and Destiny 2 and some other stuff. And then he went. Then for the last 3 years, he's been back at Bioware Austin.
I mean, SWTOR needs some serious UI help. I
Yeah,
wonder if he's going to be able to do that, or if he's has been around and he's focusing on UI stuff to come as opposed to like.
I think he may have uh, joined the UX stuff from looking at LinkedIn. Um, he was doing UI work at for EA up
Mhm.
until mid 2020. It looks like, or no, June 2021 is when he switched over to be UX designer director full time. So he might have been like on other um, EA stuff until either until June of 2021, which would have been then late to get things in for 7.0, or they've even pulled him back over into Star Wars: The Old Republic even more recently than that. Yeah, because he doesn't even say SWTOR in the latest entry. In he may just not have updated yet, but here's his LinkedIn page. Um, he just says EA work, EA work. It's always been out of Austin, but there's been a lot of things going on out of Austin. So EA stuff, and then UX designer, Bioware, full time, 2021. But who knows? He could have been involved in doing stuff so far. They do have more work to do on UI, though. You're absolutely correct. And then the last one, had you heard of George before? Either Seamer?
No.
Sheamer?
Seamer? No, I hadn't. Yeah, he definitely has a lot of experience though. He's the gameplay design director.
Yes.
Um,
So if you want to think about roles, uh, gameplay design director would be what Chris Schmidt was doing.
mhm.
So he's sort of taken over for Chris Schmidt. He has been doing it for 20 years, it sounds like. 15 years? No, wait. Hold on. My mouse is going dead here.
He's
I'm trying to
been a
scroll
part of the SWTOR design team since well before launch,
down. Yeah.
and
Senior
he
designer
was
at
part of the
gameplay. Yeah.
operations team through Shadow Revan, but now he's oversees the full gameplay team. And I think what they mean by operations, I don't know what they mean by operations. Operations means me running something.
He worked. So yeah, he's been back at BioWare since 2011. at 2006
Yeah,
through
Forster.
2009, he was at EA working on Warhammer Online. And then he was at NC Soft from 2009 to 2011 working on WildStar. And yeah, so he was the original operations guy. Yeah, so he was a gameplay designer, then he was a lead gameplay designer, then he was gameplay design director. Yeah, so WildStar, he did work on Mass Effect. He worked on Anthem. We don't talk about Anthem. So strong team. These are not, to counter some of the stuff that I shouldn't read. I shouldn't read the forums anyway, but
Yeah.
to counter some of the stuff I've seen on the forums, this is not a dead game. You would not be assigning these people to work on this game if it was a dead or dying game. These are very strong resources, very strong team, some very senior people that you've put in these director roles. This is not a dead property. And Keith is a very senior, a long time executive who would not be would not be wasting his time and would not be wasted as an asset to a company on a property if it was in maintenance mode. It's dead. They're just trying to sunset it. Blah, 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 blah. So there you go. So I'm excited. I think it's a good team. What do you think, Seema?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously
mean-
optimistic. Well, real talk. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Time
Caitlin
for real
and
talk.
Ash, yeah,
That,
they look so young to me. I mean, I know they're
wow.
experienced, but
They-
and they are young.
yeah.
Um,
And Eric's young
but
too.
yeah, but here's George Smith, who's been around the block. But yeah, I gotta say though, the first thing that came to my mind was, are we going to be able to sort of resolve the Schrodinger's galaxy now, or is that just something that everybody at BioWare believes in, not just Charles?
Right.
We'll find out, I guess.
Right. And the real talk that I was getting. Going back to, I think they look young. I don't think they're as young as they seem. So Ashley's been in game design. Oh wait, he was even before then.
Oh, I mean, that's just
12,
me being old.
13.
I look at them, they just look young to me. It's really neither here nor there.
Yeah. 12 years. So at least 12 years. This doesn't even go back as that far. Anyways,
But one thing I like about this, and you and I have talked about this, is that it's well, we didn't talk about this part of it, but it's more of a team and less of a hierarchical thing where you have one director overall, because Charles was the creative director, and now
Yeah.
we have 5 people as a team. But one of the things about Charles stepping away is it does leave this sort of opportunity to suck people out of the roles where they were into bigger roles where they can really blossom, and that is the really upside of change,
yes.
is all the opportunities.
And
And
then
that's how I want to see it play out. I'm hoping for the best for all of them.
right. And some of that, that real talk I was talking about, we are short on content. We're short on
Yeah.
content. We're short on getting things out the door. We're short on delivery. A little bit of a shakeup, rearranging the chairs, even just some of that kind of thing can energize a team. It needs some energy. We are here in August. That video of the highlight reel of here. We're getting ready to launch the 10th anniversary. This is the cantina to talk about it, and then it launched before the end of the year. That was 12 months ago. That video. And
Yeah.
we got 7.0, and then we got a minor update after the first of the year, and they're late. 7.1 is quite late at this point. And even 7.1, well, we could be surprised. But so far it doesn't look like 7.1's got as much of what we want in it. Are we going to hear from Sahar? We could. Are we going to see what happens next with Malgus? Are we going to see what the Mandalorians are doing? That's been hinted at, that there might be some story associated with it. But it's late. It's late. We're 7 months, 8 months down the road now. The awesome trailer is sort of loses its luster when it's this late to come out of that to see what happens next. So yeah, I like the team. I like the people. I really like the studio. I think it's a great place. It's a place that I would want to go work. But if I went and worked there, if I was going to go be the lead producer or whatever, or if I was going to be the boss, if I was going to take over for Keith, for first day I got there, it would be like, show me the schedules. What are we doing? We need to get some content out the door.
Right.
So, but that's not the job I would get hired in on. I would get hired in to sweep the floors, and I would sweep the hell out of them. That's one of my philosophies. You want a philosophy for life? Whatever your job, you do your job, and you be the best at doing your job that you can be. Go,
That's right.
Develop yourself. Go and find the next thing as well. Expand from where that is. But if it's your job, if I'm assigned to sweep the floors, I'm gonna sweep the hell out of those floors. And anybody who looks at me sweeping those floors and the floors when they're done is gonna say, that's a damn good job sweeping those floors. Because that's it. That's what you need to do. That's how you bring your whole self to whatever you're going to do, or don't do it. There you go. There's a bit of career advice for you.
And as Forcer said, and also bigger guns.
Yes. Number 1, we need to get more content out the door. Number 2, bigger guns. Hear me out.
that are on fire.
Hear me out. 2 words. Bigger guns. All right. So a little bit of a detour, not talking about too much. Well, again, we'll get it. Oh, will it be next week? When is our next podcast?
No.
So we've got one more before 7.1. Yes, the 26th.
Yeah.
We have the 28th. So we've got one more podcast before 7.1 comes out.
We'll think of something.
We will think of something. Maybe we'll call up Eric, make him come on and explain yourself, mister. I'm sure they would love that. Here's the setup. We're gonna be angry at you and make you explain yourself for an hour.
Right, and right now when you couldn't possibly be busy with anything else.
Right, for 1, and for 2, where you can't spoil any of the things that are coming literally days in the future.
Right.
It'd be the perfect time to have this conversation, Eric. Oh yeah, spot on. I'm in. I'm sure that's what he's gonna say. Not. All right, but we'll figure it out. I'm sure we'll have fun, and we'll be in the game. Who knows? Maybe we're going to be trying these master modes. Maybe I'll buy that stupid compendium and put it on HK55 and see if I can get through that chapter.
I mean, I know you're running low on credits.
I am not running. Speaking of credits, I've been playing a little bit of No Man's Sky because they had an expansion, an update that came out this week, which is kind of cool. They're doing a good job with that. If there's a team to model yourself after, I gotta say. Because what are they, like 6 years later, update after update after update, that has had zero cost? You buy that game once. I bought it once 6 years ago, and I couldn't give them more money if I wanted to. I think you can buy real world things. I think you can buy like little patches and stuff. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just send money to Sean. He's got a lot of money, but anyway, my point there was, 32-bit unsigned int is what holds the number of credits units that you can have in the game. So it's 4 trillion. I hit it. I gotta say, I've maxed it out. Which is sad because then I have like stuff in my inventory and I like arrange it all in my inventory and then I go to the market and I sell it And then I realized that I should just delete it because I'm capped out on units anyway. I'm not getting nothing for this. It's going into the ether. Why didn't I just delete it? Why did I even bother to travel to the market? But I do not have a trillion credits in Star Wars: The Old Republic. And I've heard that selling encryptions, selling flagship plans has been hot this week. Hot, 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 if you want to make some credits. Anyway, yes, maybe that's what I'll do. We can talk about making credits, getting achievements, and master mode chapters. How about that? You in, Seema?
Sounds good. Yep.
All right. I think with that, we are ready to wrap this up and get out of here. Again, congratulations and welcome to our new team, our new Jedi Council. We will be watching your careers with great interest. And our EPC 432 droid is ready to get shoved down an airlock to broadcast this podcast to all of you out there. To keep from missing out, subscribe to New Overlords on YouTube and iTunes. Please subscribe. We got a bunch of subscribers in the last month, so that's really fun and exciting. I'd still like us to hit that 1,000. We'll have a big party if we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. You can find all the links and more of what's next on newoverlords.com and in our new Discord. So newoverlords.com/Discord. We'll get to our new little Discord. We've only got like 40 or so people in there so far. But we're going to start doing a few more giveaways and that kind of thing in that Discord as well. Follow me on Twitter at MaxTheGray for all of the kind of news, and I will keep you up to date. For the Alea Iactas Guild on Starforge and in all the games that we play, check out aie-guild.org. And the Discord link is in the upper right on that website. Jump in there, and we would be happy to get you an invite to either the Republic or the Imperial side. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.